Hi, you guys. Thanks again for tuning in to another episode of your Cooking with Night Diva Chef Doris T. Tonight's recipe is strawberry cheesecake. I hope you enjoy the video and let's get started.
As you already heard, tonight I will be making strawberry cheesecake. So let's get started in the kitchen. Here I have my strawberries that I already washed and sliced up into pieces. And now I'm just going to put it into the pot and we're going to melt it down into a jelly and liquid consistency. This whole process will take about 10 to 15 minutes to melt down. And as I'm stirring it up, I'm going to add sugar and pure vanilla. Those are the only ingredients you will need to make this topping for your cake. So here I have my white sugar that I'm adding to the strawberries. And after I add my sugar, I'm going to add the pure vanilla. Again, I don't know how much sugar that is in the pot that I just added. It could be a cup, a little over a cup. And here is the pure vanilla. And this is going to be like a tablespoon, a little less maybe. And again, like I always tell you throughout all my videos, I don't measure anything. So it's best that you just add a little of the ingredients at first and taste it afterwards. And if you need to go back and add more to it, please feel free to do so. As you can see, I'm stirring up the strawberries and it's starting to get soft and it's melting down. You can see the juices extracting from the strawberries. And again, like I told you, it will take around 10 to 15 minutes to melt down fully. And also, I'm going to chop up some of the strawberries, not all of the strawberries, but some of the strawberries I will put into my chopper to puree it because I want that thickness of a jelly and that will help thicken it up. And then of course I will put it into the refrigerator and that's going to make it even more like a jelly. Now you don't have to go through all of this process of what I'm doing. You could actually buy the topping for the cake. And you don't get the regular jelly that you put on a toast like peanut butter and jelly. You don't get that type of jelly. It's a special type of jelly that you get for cakes and it's a topping. And so that's what I'm doing here. And now here you see I'm getting ready to puree my strawberries. I'm putting it into my chopper. And again, I'm not going to use all the strawberries, just a few. And then I'm going to just give it a little couple of quick pulse, and then after that I will put it back into the pot. Look at how much juice has extracted from the strawberry, and look how pretty it is, the nice pretty red color. And as you can see the strawberries gotten really soft, and I just pulsated some of the strawberries in my chopper, and look how thick it is. You'll see in a moment. Although it's gotten a little thicker, that's still not the consistency we're looking for. We want it even thicker than that. The reason for me making my own topping, my own strawberry sauce, is because I like to do it myself and I love cooking. But besides that, I also like to control my own sweetness and also the thickness of the jelly. Now, this sauce is not just for the cake only. You could use it for numerous things, such as waffles. If you're making waffles, you could put this on top just like they do at IHOP or any other pancake house. And also you could put it on your pancakes, and you could also put it on your ice cream. So there's many uses for this sauce, and all you just need to do is get a mason jar, or if you have a Tupperware, you could just put the sauce in that and just store it in the refrigerator for up to like 2 weeks. So that was just a few examples of how you can use this sauce. And it's not just for cakes. You could use it for other stuff. Okay, so back to the pot. So my jelly is just finished. I'm putting it into my Tupperware to refrigerate. I'm going to refrigerate it for like 2 hours. And then when I come back, you think it's thick now, it will be thick. once it's been in the refrigerator for a couple of hours, it's going to look exactly just like jelly, this type that you see on cakes at bakeries. Okay, see, I'm just showing you the consistency of it. Okay, so now I'm just going to put it in my Tupperware, pop on the lid, and see how nice and dark red that is. Just pretty. And it looked like it's not enough, but it is enough for the cake. And you will see that in once I finish baking the cake. Okay, so now I'm going to put that away, and now it's time to get started on the graham cracker crust. That's right, we're going to have graham cracker crust for the cake. So here in the pot, I'm melting down some butter, and the purpose of my butter, I'm going to pour it over my graham crackers after I crush it up. And that's going to bind the crackers so that way I could put it into the pan and it will hold together. Don't use an egg, use the butter. So for my crust, I'm using the Honey Made graham crackers, and I'm going to just crush up a whole sleeve. You know how you get 4 packs of those sleeves in a box? I'm just going to use that 1 pack, and I'm going to just crush it up with my hands. You could use a blender or a chopper to crush it up. I just felt like using my hand. I was in the mood to use my hands to crush it up. And get it as fine as you can. Get it as fine as sand, if possible. And, get your kids to help you. If you have small children, grandchildren, get them to help you as well. They would love to do this. But make sure they wash their dirty hands, and you wash your hands too. So I'm almost finished crushing it up. In video time, of course. And once I finish crushing it up, I'm going to pour my butter on top. So I crushed up the graham crackers as fine as I can with my hand. And now I'm just going to add some sugar. That's a tablespoon of sugar. I actually measured something. So I put that in. And now here is the butter that I was melting on in the pot earlier. And I'm just going to add that to the graham cracker crust. And as you can see, it's not enough to really bind it together. So I think I'm going to have to add a little more butter to it. I think the first time I added like a little over a half a stick of butter. So I'm going to just melt up probably another half of butter. And so anyway, here is my spring form pan. This is a spring form pan that I'm going to use to bake my cheesecake. And I just wrapped it up in aluminum foil at the bottom. And then I'm going to add my graham cracker crust. At first, I'm going to put a little butter in it, as you're going to see here. I think that was a little less than half, and I'm going to mix it together, and you will see it will bind the crust up a little bit. So I'm just going to mix the butter and the crust together, and now I'm going to put the crumbs inside of the pan. And once I get the crumbs inside of the pan, I'm going to spread it and make sure I get every inch of the pan at the bottom, because that is going to be the base for the cake. That is the crust, so it needs to be fully covered. Now, graham crackers is not the only crust you can use. There's other types of crust you can use. You can even use nuts, some crushed up nuts that you could use at the bottom. Mix it in with the graham crackers. But graham crackers is one of the popular crusts. Make sure you spread it all around. Make sure you get it in real nice and tight. No holes or cracks. Make sure there is none of that, because you don't want it to split. And then we're going to bake it in the oven for 10 minutes. And it's going to turn into like a hard cookie. You'll see once I do it. But see, this is how you want it to look. Make sure you get it all the way around. See, I'm pushing it up so I could get every inch of that pan. And see, this is what it looks like once it's all smashed together. It looked like it was made that way. So, and now I'm going to put it in the oven for 10 minutes. As you can see here, I already put it in the oven for 10 minutes. And look how perfect it came out. Doesn't that look nice? It looked like I didn't even crush up a graham cracker. It looked like it was made that way. And that is the crust for the cake. Perfect. The way I want it. Okay, so now let's go to step 3, which is making the cheesecake. Okay, as you can see, I have my Philadelphia cream cheese. I'm going to start with 1. I'm actually going to use 4 cream cheese, but I'm going to do 1 at a time. I'm going to add this cream cheese, and now I'm going to add the sugar on top. Now with the sugar, I actually did try to measure out 1 cup. So I did put 1 cup inside of that paper cup, and I just, as you can see, just pouring it inside the bowl on top of my cream cheese. And now I'm going to blend it together. And it's going to come into like hard, solid pieces. But once I put my vanilla on top, it's going to soften it up and become creamy. So you just do this for like a minute. As you can see how hard it's coming out. And you're just going to blend that up. So here I have my pure vanilla that I'm going to add to the mixture. And this is maybe a tablespoon. It looked like a little less. And I'm just going to beat that up until it gets nice and creamy. So I'm just going to keep blending that together until it becomes smooth and creamy. It only takes about a minute or 2 to do. As you can see, it's starting to cream up now. So I'm going to just keep going around and around. And then once I finish getting that all creamy, then I will add my sour cream. Yes, I will be adding sour cream to the dish. It will make it light, fluffy, and a nice white. And you will see once I put it in. So here I have my Breakstone sour cream, and I'm just going to use 2 big over-the-top tablespoons of sour cream. This is what's going to help make it light and fluffy. And I'm just going to blend that together, as you can see. And now I'm going to add in my eggs. I have 3 eggs that I'm going to add in. I'm going to add it in 1 at a time. And I'm still not going to add my other cream cheese just yet. I'm going to wait until I make this into like a liquid. You'll see. Keep on watching. So here I have my 3 medium-sized egg, which I'm adding in 1 at a time. And I'm just going to blend that up. And after I get this egg blended up, I will be adding my second, then my third. And once that becomes blended, then I will add another cream cheese. So now I'm going to add in my second egg, and then I'm going to mix that in. You see how the batter is starting to turn loose? It's starting to turn like a liquid, and that's what I was looking for. And then after I add my third egg, I'm going to add in another block of cream cheese. And there is my third egg. Just going to blend that in for a few seconds. So here I'm adding in my second cream cheese and just going to get that blended in. Now remember, I'm going to add 4 cream cheese. This is the second one. And then you're going to see the batter is starting to thicken up. It's going to be lumpy, and then it's going to thicken up, and then it's going to become smooth. And keep on watching. You'll see. This video is going to be a little longer than my other videos. I always try to cut it short, but I just want you to see exactly how to mix in your batter so that way you could get a good cheesecake like what I did. Okay, my last two cream cheese, I'm just going to blend it together at one shot. And once I finish blending it in, you're going to see the thickness of the batter, and you're going to see how creamy and nice and white it is. It's going to look really fluffy, and that's what you want. I had to move the cup because I'm about to do some work right now. Blending these two cream cheese together wasn't easy. I had to blend it for a good maybe 10 minutes before it became smooth. 10 to 15 minutes actually before it became really smooth. But of course I'm not going to let you watch it for that long. I'll cut it. But in the meantime, you can see how lumpy the cream cheese is. And you can also see that it's starting to thicken up. So I'm going to just keep stirring it and blending it until it gets to the consistency that I'm looking for. And like I said, it's going to be lumpy at first, but you just keep on mixing until it gets smooth. Okay, let's pretend it's 15 minutes later, and this is what you want your cream cheese to look like. All right, I got my cream cheese to the thickness and creaminess that I'm looking for, and I'm just cleaning off my blades by just putting the excess batter back into my bowl. All right, so now I'm going to fold in my batter. And here I am folding it in. I'm going to make sure I get the sides and get all of that and just fold it. Just get it all folded in. And this is how you make it creamy. Rich, creamy, fluffy. Just fold it all in. So the batter is actually done. And here I am just tasting it. And it was delicious. The texture and the taste was great. So now I'm going to pour my batter onto my graham cracker crust. And look how nice and white and fluffy that cream cheese is. You can see it's light. Just by looking at it, you can see it's light and fluffy. And didn't that cookie look nice? The graham cracker crust, that looked beautiful too. So after I finish putting the cream cheese on top of the graham cracker crust, I will put it in the oven and let it bake for an hour. But of course, I will check on it after an hour. But don't keep opening and closing the oven. I think that's how I got a little crack in my cake. At first, it came out beautiful. But then all of a sudden, I got a little crack. And you will see it once I finish baking the cake. But here I am just spreading the cream cheese around in the pan, and I'm just trying to make it smooth as possible, as smooth as I can get it, and even, because I want a smooth, even cake. So that's what I'm doing right here, just making it smooth. I look like I'm frosting a cake, but I'm not, of course. It's not even done. It looked like frosting. That's how pretty it looks. So, and I'm not a professional cake baker or, decorator. So just do the best you can with making the cake look as nice as you can. If it's not for a bakery, it doesn't have to be perfect. Just do what you can do. Okay, this is as good as it's going to get on camera. I actually smoothed it out a little better off camera, and I put it in the oven for like an hour, a little over an hour, and here it is after it's done. Look how smooth it is. Perfect. So I have to let it cool off for an hour, and once it cools off for an hour, I'm going to then put my strawberry preserves on top. I will show you a little bit of how I decorated the cake. But look how nice and white and round that cake is. So here the cake has been sitting for a little over an hour, maybe an hour, 10 minutes, hour 15. So now I'm just going to remove the aluminum foil that I have, and I'm going to unhinge my springform pan. And you're going to see the cake come out. And it's going to be nice and round. And I changed the lighting, so that's why it looks a little yellowish, a different color. I shouldn't have changed the lighting, but I did. But there is the cake, nice and smooth. And for some reason, it got a little crack in it. I don't know how that happened, but it got a little crack. I don't know if you can see it. But not to worry about the crack. If it happens to you, just cover it up with your strawberry sauce, just like what I'm going to do. And you won't be able to tell that it was even a crack in it. Don't that look nice and perfectly even colored on the top and the sides? Very nice. So that is the cake. And now I'm going to get my preserves, and then I'm going to start putting it on top. Just look at the sides, nicely even colored. The top is even colored. Okay, so I just removed my strawberry sauce from the refrigerator, and as you can see, it looks like a jelly, and that's what they usually have in the bakeries on the cake. And look, I'm putting it on that crack, and you won't be able to tell that there was ever a crack. And those big chunks of lumps in the sauce, that's the strawberries that didn't melt down. I didn't want all the strawberries to melt completely down. I did want some chunks in there. So I'm just going to spread this around. And I'm not a cake decorator. I just, was going, in my head of what I seen in the stores and stuff. So I was just trying to imagine it and do it like that. So I was just going by that. And so I'm just going to spread the jam around until I get it all spread around the cake. And that one jar made the whole cake. And I had some left over. It looked like a little bit in the Tupperware, but I actually had some left over that I used for later. So here I am, as you can see, I'm just spreading the jam around, or the sauce, strawberry sauce. You could call it jam too. So I'm just spreading it around and trying to get it even, make it look nice for you guys. Well, you basically get the idea of what I'm doing, how I'm going around in a circle with the jam, and then I'm going to just put the strawberries on the sides. And voila. And here you have my slammin' jammin' strawberry cheesecake. Thanks again for watching another episode of Your Cooking with Night Diva, Chef Doris T. I hope to see you again soon.